Story about port monitors is pretty much the same as with time provider libraries. Windows provides a printing functionality to the user, okay? And to make it more extendable, Windows allows you to install so-called port monitors. So port monitor is a DLL that passes raw device commands to the printer, either over the network or printer installed locally, like on a serial port, for example. Okay, and so port monitor is a sort of linking entity between spooling service in the system and the printer. That's basically it. So what we need to do is we need to create a dedicated port monitor DLL and configure the system to use it if we want to have a persistence, right? So let's take a look at the DLL source code. So we go to our course materials, pers 02 admin port monit, and let's take a look at that. So port monitor DLL has to export one function, which is initialize print monitor 2, and that function gets called when the port monitor DLL gets loaded into the process, and it has to fill out a special function, structure. The monitor structure, which holds pointers to various functions that port monitor should provide. Okay, and these functions are here. These functions are it's like a mandatory minimal list of the functions that have to be implemented. But as you can see, all the functions are doing nothing, actually. They are just return some expected values, and that's it. So our initialize print monitor 2 function, what it does is actually it's going to launch our go function in a separate thread, and go function is already known. So far it will launch our implant. So if you want to use that for your persistence, you can change, you can provide enter your malicious code here. Okay, either it's a payload, something whatever you want. So now let's take a look at where this configuration goes. So we have to go to registry editor, and the configuration lives in current local machine, system, current control set, control, print, and monitors. So under that key, we will create a new subkey which will point to our DLL, and it's really straightforward. The only thing the only value it has to hold is a driver value, which will point to a name of the DLL, and you cannot provide the whole path to the DLL. It has to be copied into the System32 folder. Okay, so let's do that. Let's compile our port monitor DLL. So let's go to RTO, pers 02, port monit. We compile it. Now we can copy port monit DLL to Windows System 32. And we have to add a value driver to under print monitors key with subkey port monitor. Okay, And this actually name it's up to you how you call that subkey. And with that, we now the system persistence is set. So to make it run, the system has to reboot. Okay. So let me close all the things and restart our machine. So we're logging back. And while we are logging in, I can also tell you that there is another way to configure your port monitor. Microsoft introduced a dedicated API call, which is called add monitor. So if you call add monitor function with specific parameters, you can register your port monitor in the Spooler service. Okay, that's the other way you can use that for setting up your persistence. So let's take a look at our process list and see if our persistence worked. Port monitor is all the port monitors are loaded into the spool into the spool service. So as you can see, our implant is running, and let's go to modules, and our portmon DLL is loaded, right? And we are running as system user. So we successfully gained persistence using port monitor. So let me close that. And let's clean up. So one of the first things we have to do is to unload port monitor, which is not a safe thing to do, but we need to do that if we want to remove a DLL from the disk. So portmon, and we also need to remove the key. So that's it. Let's move on to the next technique.